So in the previous video, we executed card 1. Now in this video, we will show you how to do card 2 alpha. So that is the software altitude accuracy. I will not be showing you how to do 2 Bravo as I don't have a sensor to show the temperature outside. But it would be the same as 2 alpha. The difference is 2 alpha, you look at the altitude indicator to write down what the speed of the glider is at every single thousandth foot, versus the temperature probe. You wouldn't be looking at the altimeter, you'd be looking at the temperature of the outside the glider at every 1,000 feet. So again, I can't show you 2 Bravo, but I'll show you 2 Alpha. So let's get to it. Again, if you remember in the previous video, we had just paused, look at our indicated airspeed for takeoff. We saw it was 45 knots. We will check here again. Yep, I see 40 and 45 at least. It's obviously between, but I'm gonna write what I know. It's 45. Again, shift 9 gives you my view of me in the glider. And now card 2 on deck, so I'll let the pilot know. Card 2 alpha on deck, software altitude accuracy. If you could please help me by stating passing 1,000 foot, I will appreciate it, and I will relay what the current altitude is and the speed and how much time has elapsed. For this case, I don't have a stopwatch with me, so I will actually not write the times, but please carry a stopwatch. I will actually just indicate the speed at every 1,000th foot altitude. So in here, again, reminder, our current altitude at takeoff above the ground was 0, but the indicated airspeed was approximately 1,480. Again, for the ease here, I will say it was 1,500. So the next time I see this read 2,500, which means this long arrow will go all the way around and back here. This little one, because this goes one full round of one time around, it means 1,000. This one should be reading past the 2. So at 2,500, I will write the next number down, and so on. So again, every 1,000. So I have my 0, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. So so again, at 1,000 feet, that's 2,500. At 2,000, that's 3,500. 4, so on and so on. Again, this initial indication will be different when you're on the glider in the glider port. So it's important to again remember and read what the initial one is. I just know for this case in the simulator, it was 1,500-ish, and I'll go from there. So let's get back to it. Shift 9. Again, this might take a little while. The glider's being pulled up. And it's a good practice to try and stay on track. So what the pilot will actually be doing is they will actually try and stay right behind the glider underneath it. I mean the tail plane. So try to do that. It should be smooth inputs, nothing crazy. It's a little bit difficult if you try it. So try and stabilize. As you can see here, I'm having a little bit of difficulty, but ideally a perfect pilot would be flying right behind the tail plane, kind of right underneath it. So here I'm coming up towards my 500 feet. If you look at that dial, I'm at 2,000. I'm going to pause it at 2,500. Check my indicated airspeed, and then I'll keep going up to the next one. Oh, stabilize. Okay, 2,100, 2,200. 2,400. Uh-oh, higher than the tail plane. That's not good. Okay, I'm coming right underneath it. Try to stay there. And 2,500. Pause. Zoom in. So again, 1,000 foot has passed. My indicated airspeed says it's 85. So I'll write that down. And I'll continue to the next 1,000. I'll do it one more time, but pretty much you'll do this until you pass 4,000 feet. Maybe I'll just go and do the entire thing, but let's keep going. Again, in this part of it, as you're actually gliding, take the time to look at the view. Don't lose sight of your actually gauge, but you'll have plenty of time, about 15 minutes, to get towed up in real life, and take the experience in. You know, it might be one of the very few times that you might be in a glider flying over wherever we're flying, and you know, take in the beauty, relax, because the next cards you will be more busy than on this one. Okay, here we're going past 2,300, 2,400 above the ground. Indicated is, there we go, another 1,000. So indicated airspeed 3,500. Again, my indicated airspeed, my bad, indicated airspeed is 65 knots. Indicated altitude is 3,500. So again, that's my second reading, my third one technically, because my 0 feet above the ground was my takeoff. We'll go back at it. We need let's see, two more, and I'll click pause again and resume the glider. One thing to keep in mind, this indicated airspeed, think about it, is that the speed of your glider, or is that the speed of the tail plane, or is it both? And if you were to use this to look at the performance of the glider, are you actually looking at the performance of your glider or the performance of the glider, I mean the tail plane pulling you? Again, things to think about. Okay, we're at 4,300 indicated altitude. We're coming up to our fourth reading, so we should be about 3,000 feet above the ground level, and we're coming up towards that, and I will click pause again. At this point, if the pilot is helping you out, they should say passing 1,000 feet, and you would reply with copy, passing 3,000 feet above the ground, or copy, passing 4,500 feet indicated. Airspeed is 65 knots, and time lapse is blah. So again, look, the indicated airspeed is showing the 4,500, and my altitude, again, this is my third reading, so it should be 3,000 above the ground, and here it is, 3,000 feet above the ground, AGL. And again, I'm seeing that it's 65. That's the closest accurate number I could read. If I had digital, it would tell me it's about 67 knots indicated. So I'll take that reading. Again, we have one last reading to go at 4,000 feet above the ground before we release the tow. So again, by this time, you should start feeling comfortable knowing how to read your altimeter and how to read your indicated airspeed. Again, this is kind of the easiest card that you will be executing. Again, this might be, if you include your takeoff speed, yeah, it will be like your 5th or 6th reading these gauges, so you should start feeling comfortable. Again, it's simple. Don't worry about it. Take your time and enjoy the view. Here we come up, and we're getting close to that 4,000 toe altitude. And if I click pause, we should be above 4,000 feet. So here you see altimeter above the ground, 4,000. Let's read it. We are at 5,500 indicated altimeter for altitude. So you would say again, copy passing 4,000 feet above the ground, indicated airspeed 40, 45, 50, 50 knots. Write that down, and I would then tell the pilot test point complete, letting them know I've done with this card, and we would move on to the next one.